Hello everyone, welcome to this new video where I am going to show how to migrate from a NSX N-VDS to the new vSphere 7 VDS with NSX installed. So in this environment I have two vSphere hosts with just two physical NICs. As you can see here in the new switch visualization view, and you can see I have two uplinks with an N-VDS, which means in the load balance source ID, I have two tab interfaces configured. And right now my VM kernel interface is on the N-VDS on VLAN 11. A prerequisite here is that you upgrade or install NSX-T 3.0 and your vSphere distributed switch is on vSphere 7 as well to migrate to. Looking at the configuration of NSX-T, you can see that the hosts are configured as an N-VDS with an overlay and VLAN transport zone. Everything else fairly standard. I'm using a transport node profile, specific uplink profile, which I will show later. But in this case, I do the migration host by host. So I will detach the transport node profile. I'm using IP pools on VLAN 100 and I have two uplinks active. And since I'm coming from 2.5 NSX-T 2.5, I also have configured install and uninstall mappings. So I mapped the VMK 0 to VLAN 11, and for uninstall, I map VMK 0 to a ephemeral port group on the VDS or a port group with a similar name on the VSS to uninstall. And VMNIC 1 and VMNIC 0 are the physical NIC mappings. We don't need those, as I will show you later, but this is for my previous configuration, so this is migrated to NSX-T 3.0. So in this case, simple cluster, two physical NICs, as you can see, claimed by the N-VDS. For simplicity, just one VM kernel interface configured on the N-VDS. And you can see I have a standard vSwitch 0 with that port group and an N-VDS configured, which is currently being used. So if you want to migrate to the new vSphere 7 VDS on a host-by-host basis and you're using transport node profiles, you first need to detach that profile from the cluster. So let's do that now. So now we're ready to migrate host by host to the VDS. First of all, let's put it in maintenance mode. This migrates any VMs. As you can see, I have two VMs running on a web logical switch, which is currently an NSX opaque switch, as you can see here. Now the host is in maintenance mode. VMs are running on the other host. So in order to migrate, I'm going to first create a temporary uplink profile to be used. The goal is that with this uplink profile, I can release one of the two physical NICs in the N-VDS in order to do the switch to the VDS. So for this case, I've configured a production ESXi migration uplink profile as an intermediate uplink profile. And what I do is I just configure failover order teaming policy with just one active uplink. I use the same transport VLAN ID and the same MTU settings. And let us now go back to the host and apply that uplink profile. So therefore I go to configure NSX. In this case, we select the uplink profile in this pull down menu. So this will clear the teaming policy switch mapping, so close this. And in my case, I want to clear VMNIC 0. So I'm going to select VMNIC 1. And in this case, with the uninstall mappings, I recommend also to remove VMNIC 0 from those mappings. So now NSX Manager is applying that configuration on the host. Let's wait for that to finish. That seems to be finished right now. So if we now click on the host, let's see how the switch visualization looks like. Now you can see the N-VDS is currently mapped only with uplink 1 on VMNIC 1. And we only have one tab interface as of now. That means we should also see, we also can see the N-VDS only has VMNIC 1 and VMNIC 0 is now released. So what we can do now is configure a VDS for vSphere 7 and add that host with that interface into the VDS. So I prepared already the VDS, and one thing I need to highlight here is if you use NSX-T with the vSphere VDS on vSphere 7, the MTU is controlled on the VDS. So as you can see here, it's a vSphere 7 VDS. And I've configured the VDS with the MTU of 9000. So you will no longer configure an MTU in the uplink profiles. So I will show you that later too. So this VDS does not yet have any hosts attached. I've just prepared some port group, and my goal is to move back my VM kernel interfaces to a plain management distributed port group and have only NSX segments needed for NSX on NSX-T. And that allows me as a vSphere administrator, for example, to manage my VDS without using the NSX-T interface. So I have a clear separation of control. So right now I can add a host. So let's start with host 11. This is just, you know, the VDS migration wizard. So yes, I want VMNIC 0 and I want that uplink associated with uplink 1. And now I'm going to leverage the option to migrate the interface, and I assign the port group I've prepared up front, management in this case, with the same VLAN ID. I don't have to yet have to migrate any VMs. That will be done automatically when I put the other host in maintenance mode. And that's it. Well, actually, the VMs themselves are not migrated from a networking point of view. They will automatically be migrated to NSX port groups on the VDS, which I will show you later. So now we've configured this host for the VDS. So let's check the configuration. So now we have 3 switches. So now a distributed switch compute with just one uplink interface and the VM kernel port. vSwitch is not used, and the N-VDS has the remaining VNIC 1. So from NSX point of view, nothing has changed as of this time. So now we're ready to switch from an N-VDS to a VDS without uninstalling NSX. So if you look at the profiles, I've also created a profile which I want to use on the VDS. So in this case, the production ESXi host uplink profile. And as you can see, I'm going to use load balance source, uplink 1 and uplink 2 as active uplinks, transport VLAN 100, and I don't configure an MTU because this is configured on the VDS level. Configure NSX. Now we're ready to flip from the N-VDS to the VDS. So I select VDS standard. I select the VDS, which is compute. I select the uplink profile, which I showed earlier. Mappings are cleared. That's all clear. Now uplink 1 is mapped to uplink 1 on the VDS uplinks. Uplink 2 will be mapped to uplink 2. So now we're ready to finish. Let's wait for the NSX manager to apply the switch configuration on the host. That seemed to be successfully. If you look in switch visualization, we still have one uplink yet. We are now using VMNIC 0 with uplink 1 and VDS compute because we yet have to switch VMNIC 1 to the VDS as a next step, as the final step. On the host, let's refresh this. On the host, you can see now the compute VDS with the as an NSX switch, one uplink, and you can see the VDS is now removed from the host. So what we can do is manage the physical adapters and just add a new adapter as uplink 2. And now you can see it's added to the VDS. As you can see, the host switch, NSX switch, automatically detects that VMNIC to be added. And now you can see we have both uplinks ready and the VDS is configured. So now we are migrated to a vSphere 7 VDS for this host. And we're ready to go and to move on to the next host. So in this case, I exit maintenance mode. You can see from the networking view that we now have both opaque networks as NSX network support groups on the compute VDS. That's fine because under the hood, this web logical switch is the same logical switch as this one. And once you've completed the migration for all your hosts in your cluster on the VDS, these networks will disappear. So as you can see, the web VM still running on this opaque network. So if we want to migrate the second host, we put it into maintenance mode. And as you can see, vCenter is aware of this logical switch being the same, so it automatically migrates the web VMs to the other host. And as you can see, now they're automatically moved to this NSX port group. So this concludes the demo on how you can migrate from an N-VDS to a VDS using vSphere 7 VDS and NSX-T 3.0. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.